Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a wear test with the new Fenty foundation in the shade 100. I wanted to show you how the foundation swatches against my neck. I normally wearing a lower cut shirt because I like to match my neck and my chest. You can see the color right there. And then if I just blend it out even with my fingertips, it blends in pretty well with my skin tone. So hopefully you can see just with fingers blends in. Now my face has more color than my neck and my chest, which is why I like to match my foundation to my neck and my chest, because I want to be uniform. I don't want to be a dark head and light neck and chest. So for my primer today, I'm going to use the First Aid Beauty Coconut Smoothie Primer. I've already got on SPF. This primer has like a slight tint to it and it gives you like a lot of radiance. I've got NYX in here with me today. Phyrra is currently getting groomed. If you don't know anything about poodle grooming, let me tell you, it takes 2 to 3 hours depending on the dog and the condition of the hair. I got my brows shaped and tinted yesterday, so they are nice and dark. So Fenty Beauty claims that they are cruelty-free and not sold in China. Additionally, on their website, they say that this foundation is vegan. I believe this foundation is made for very oily skin, or oily, like I would say oily to very oily skin. And since my skin is very dry and I have sensitivity and I have rosacea and I have seborrheic dermatitis around my eyebrows and like right here around my nose that I basically have to put medication on or things look cakey. So this foundation is not ideal for my skin type. What I'm going to do to make it more ideal for my skin type is mix it with a little bit of vitamin E. Hopefully you can see how my face looks kind of like luminous thanks to the coconut smoothie primer. And that's absorbed nicely. So what I'm gonna do is mix this vitamin E, which is Sundown Naturals Vitamin E. I bought this on Amazon. I wanna say it was like $5 or $6. It was really inexpensive. I'm gonna mix this with the Fenty foundation. That's the vitamin E oil I'm putting on my hand. I just did a full pump, which looks like a lot of product because this seems to have a really watery texture. And I'm gonna dot this on one side of my face at a time because I feel like this foundation dries pretty fast. And I'm going to use the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to start blending this out. Now the vitamin E makes it so that this is more hydrating for dry skin. Wow, I feel like this is just blending in seamlessly with my skin. And I'm really just trying to do one side of my face at a time so you can see the difference. I also like that mixing this with the vitamin E makes it more sheer, since I prefer a more sheer to light coverage foundation because I guess I have decent skin. I really just want to hide my redness from rosacea. I don't really feel like I need to have full coverage. Okay, so this is the side with the foundation. This is the side without. And I feel like this is just hiding a lot of my redness. Because I know this foundation is so dry and I feel like I basically have to work with one section of my face at a time, even though the vitamin E makes it more luminous and hydrating, I think I'm just worried that if I don't work this way, I'll end up with like streaky foundation. Or it'll be cakey, or it'll be patchy, or something, I don't know. I actually picked up the vitamin E oil at the recommendation of Megan from the Phyrra Facebook group. Megan is an expert in all things oil and skincare. Okay, now I have it on both sides of my face. I'm going to go back with a little bit that I have left on my hand and just put a little bit more right at the center where I feel like I need the extra coverage. And then I will zoom in and get uncomfortably close for you. Let's zoom in uncomfortably close. So from what I can see of my forehead, I don't see any cakiness happening. There's like a little bit of, I don't know what's going on, like right here at my temples. Could be from my sunscreen. there's going to be cakiness by the side of my nose no matter what. Just because of my seborrheic dermatitis, I need to put my medication on it. So like right here, I think you can see like right in this crevice. And definitely over here in this crevice. I don't feel like, oh, that's my lip balm. I don't feel like there's any cakiness elsewhere. Oh, I do feel like it's emphasizing like fine lines like right here around my mouth. Maybe I'm imagining things, but that's what I feel like. This is still kind of tacky to the touch. So I think I'm gonna set this. So I'm gonna use my NARS Light Reflecting Loose Setting Powder. This is no longer cruelty free, but I wanna use it up, and I purchased it when it was cruelty free. And I'm using it because I know it won't change the color of the foundation. So if the foundation is going to oxidize or not, it won't be because of this powder. I am gonna add a little bit of blush, even though I'm probably not gonna have time to do like full face of makeup today, just because I have too much other stuff going on. I'm trying to apply my blush differently than I normally do. I'm kind of popping it more forward on my face, which like I said, I don't normally do. And I'm doing that since I'm not gonna do much other makeup. Oh, it's already settling into the fine line under my eyes, so I'm gonna like, see if I can just rub that out with my finger. Putting on Makeup Geek Celestial Highlighter. You know that's my favorite highlight. I am gonna spray my face with Urban Decay's All Nighter just because that's typically one of the things I use to set my foundation. I'm gonna come in one more time for you to look at it uncomfortably close. Again, like right around here, this is where you're gonna see my seborrheic dermatitis, like right here in the crevice of my nose. It is 12:44 p.m. Eastern my time, so I'll check back in another couple hours, and then I'll do a final check-in. I'll probably check in about 4 hours, and then again in 4 hours, and then again in 2 hours. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so I applied the Fenty Beauty Foundation about 20 minutes ago. Like I finished all of my application because my phone says it's now 1:05 p.m. and I feel like maybe the vitamin E or something caused it to oxidize, or I don't even know, but it's just, my face looks so red and so different than like my neck and my chest. I'm having issues here. I'm not liking it. So I don't even know. I'm gonna continue with this wear test, but I feel like this looks bad. It's around 1:05 p.m. Just going to get some natural light of my face with this foundation. Okay, so I didn't bring my phone in here, but it's about 1:07 p.m. I wasn't planning on doing a check-in this soon, but I looked in my phone and I'm like, holy crap, my face looks like it's a completely different color than the rest of me. So I don't know if that means that the foundation is slightly oxidized. I took some video and photos of me outside in direct sunlight and in indirect sunlight, but my face looked really red. In here, under the studio lights and indirect light, I don't think it looks that bad, but I definitely already have a lot of redness coming through here. I know this is my blush, but I felt like my entire face was looking kind of like pinkish and sunburnt. It was not cool. So I don't know. I hate it. I hate it when things don't look the same under multiple lighting conditions. It has me really worried. So yeah, like under here with, like this is a mix of natural light and just one ring light. I don't have all of my filler lights or anything else on because I was trying to get as true to color as possible. So I don't know, I'm kind of stuck. I don't know whether things match or not. It's really frustrating. Okay, it is 4:42 p.m. so this is my first check-in. It's about 4 hours after initial application, and I'm gonna get uncomfortably close for you guys. I feel like this foundation looks like it's already cakey. Like if I'm looking in a normal mirror, my forehead looks fine, but I feel like if I look in a magnifying mirror, like a 5 times magnified mirror, it looks like it's a little cakey here. My nose definitely looks cakey. It's gotten worse. Like, looks like the lower I go, the worse it is. Like my lip looks really foundation heavy, and I guess it's cakey. Like I don't know any other way to describe it. I feel like it's emphasizing pores and lines like right here around my mouth. You can see that. My chin looks a little cakey too. I don't feel like my cheeks look bad. And I don't know if it's just because of the different products layered on them, but I don't feel like the cheeks look so bad. But definitely like down my nose, it's just like, it's gotten even worse. And here to me, this just looks like right here, my lips looks absolutely terrible. I feel like it's just not good. As far as the color match, once the foundation's settled, I feel like, okay, shade 100 is supposed to be a pale neutral, and I feel like it's slightly warm on my skin. So either it oxidized slightly warm, or the shade's just like a hair too warm for me. I'm not really sure why or how. And I feel like you can see it now. I couldn't see it earlier until I went into some different light where it was like a very stark contrast. But I feel like I can see it now under my studio lights. And this is like a mix of daylight and studio light right now. So yeah, I feel like it just looks a little off. I'm a little torn because on the one hand, I felt like initially the shade matched me. It looked like it was a pretty good match in the back of my hand, or it looked in the back of my hand like it might be slightly too pink. But I thought initially on my face it was like a perfect match. You know, it blended in really well. I'm not sure if it oxidized because of mixing it with vitamin E, which I don't think vitamin E should make it oxidize, at least from what I've researched online. But I don't know, I feel like the shade's a little off. So I just got in from dinner and drinks with friends. It is 10:22, so it's been like almost 10 hours since I put this foundation on. I feel like this foundation, like from a distance, probably looks okay. I have like a nice glow, but really close up, it looks like a cakey mess. So I'm gonna get uncomfortably close. So it's worn off of my nose. It looks super cakey right here and here. My mouth is even more pronounced than before. My chin looks pretty cakey. The cheeks and the blush and the highlight are still there, so they don't look so bad at all, but like, I feel like the rest of this just doesn't look great. So yeah. And you know, I think it was looking kind of cakey around like the 3.5 or 4 hour mark, whatever it was. It started looking pretty cakey. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back with my wrap up and final thoughts tomorrow. Okay, so now that I've done the wear test, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Fenty foundation and then share my thoughts with you about my opinions on this foundation for me. So I feel like the Fenty brand launch was awesome because they launched with 40 shades, and they had shades from very light to very deep, so they covered a very wide variety of skin tones. I don't know any brand that whenever they first came out launched with 40 shades. Yes, some brands have 40 shades now, like Cover FX, who's awesome, but I feel like very few, I don't know of any other brand literally that has launched that had enough, you know, awesome options for deeper skin tones as well as some great options for lighter skin tones. So I feel like Fenty did a great job with that. Now, that said, let's talk about shade 100, which is the shade that I tried out. Initially, I thought that this was going to be a perfect shade match for me, and when I applied it, it looked great. But once it dried down, it looked peachy pink. I don't know, it didn't look right on my skin. It had like a slight cast to it. And I think that shade 110 would have been worse because I think it would have been more pink. I typically go for neutral foundations because I think I'm either neutral toned or I'm a cool yellow, which means either way I need a neutral tone foundation, because if a shade is too pink or too peach, it really shows up on my skin, and I don't think it looks flattering. So I really do think the Fenty foundation has a ton of great shades. I don't think that there's a perfect match for me. I also need to point out that I am not the palest person I know. I have a lot of friends who are paler than I am. I have friends in the Phyrra Facebook group who are paler than I am. I have friends locally who have albinism who are also paler than I am. So I know that there are people out there who are paler than me, and they probably need a lighter foundation. The reason that you see me say things like pale skin or pale beauty for my blog is because that's how people find my blog. Those are search terms that people use to come to my blog. And when I found this out, I started using those terms more frequently. So That's all there is to it. So anyway, back to the Fenty foundation. I think that if you have oily skin, you are going to love the Fenty foundation because I think it's gonna be great for oily skin. But if you have dry skin like mine, you're probably not gonna like it. I feel like it will emphasize dryness, it will turn cakey, and it's not a fit for me. As you could probably tell during the wear test, as the day went on, like it started looking really weird and heavy and cakey on my upper lip. It got really cakey around my chin. It was cakey around the sides of my nose, but I have seborrheic dermatitis, so that's just because of my skin. I have skin issues. It did look okay initially, I think, on my cheeks and my forehead because I mixed in the vitamin E oil. But if I had just put this on its own without mixing it with vitamin E, I think I would have been in big trouble. I think it would have been really cakey and just terrible. So definitely not a fit for my skin. I have dry skin and I prefer a more sheer foundation, sheer to light coverage. And this is, in my opinion, probably a solid medium, maybe to full coverage. So it's definitely more coverage than I need. I also want to talk about price. I actually think it's at a really great price point. It's $34 for 1.08 ounces of product. As a comparison, Kat Von D's foundation is $35 for 1 ounce of product, so they're really closely priced. So I think that that's an excellent price point to be at. It's not super expensive, and it's high quality ingredients. And so like I said, if you are somebody who has oily skin, I think you'll probably love this. If you don't have skin as dry as mine, you might be able to make it work by using a different oil. I thought vitamin E was a good choice just because it's usually very moisturizing for dry skin, but like I said, I still ended up with it being cakey. So while this foundation isn't a winner for me because of the color not being quite right and the formula not being good for my skin, I do think it's a good foundation. I just think it's not for me. So anyway, what do you think of the Fenty foundation? Please be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click that little subscribe button down below so you don't miss my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!